If you think Christmas is just blinking lights, cologne commercials, and a fat man in red sneaking down the chimney without anyone calling the police, then you haven't read the fine print of history. Forget everything you know. Forget the angelic carols and the smiling gingerbread cookies. Because if we scratch the surface a bit, the original, real Christmas looks a lot more like a B horror movie than a Disney commercial. Today, we are not talking about peace and love. Today, we are traveling the world to discover that, in many corners, Christmas is the perfect time to set things on fire, summon demons, and basically survive the winter without being eaten alive. Welcome to the dark, strange, and fascinating side of the holidays. And to start our tour of Christmas chaos, we have to go north, to Sweden, specifically to the city of Gävle. They have a tradition there that, on paper, sounds adorable. Building a giant goat made of straw. They call it the Gävle Goat. It is majestic. It is 13 meters tall. It weighs tons and stands proud in the castle square at the beginning of Advent. But the interesting thing isn't the goat itself. The interesting thing is that almost every year, the people of Gävle try to destroy it with creativity worthy of a spy movie. Since 1966, this goat has been the victim of all kinds of attacks. It's not vandalism. It's almost an unofficial national sport. The mission is simple. Burn the goat before Christmas arrives. And the authorities, year after year, try to protect it as if it were the President of the United States. Imagine the scene. Security guards, surveillance cameras, double fences, and they have even gone so far as to spray the straw with flame-retardant products. But human ingenuity for destruction knows no limits. On one occasion, a guy dressed as Santa Claus approached stealthily and shot a flaming arrow at it as if he were a medieval archer, reducing it to ashes in seconds. Another year, hackers hijacked the security webcams so that no one could see how they set fire to the structure. There was a year when they tried to carry it away, flying with a helicopter. Yes, you heard right. A plan worthy of a James Bond villain to steal a giant straw goat. The ironic thing is that the goat has burned down so many times that the bets are not about whether it will survive, but about what exact day it will burn. It is an annual war between order and chaos, between the tradition of building and the tradition of burning. And honestly, I think deep down, Swedes like to see it burn. It is the coziest fire sacrifice of the Scandinavian winter. But if you think a burning goat is the weirdest thing you are going to see, pack your bags, because we are going to Iceland. And here things get serious. In Iceland, they don't have a jolly Santa Claus. They have 13, and they are not saints. They are trolls. They are called the Yule Lads, or the Jólasveinar. But before talking about them, we have to talk about their mother, Grýla. Grýla is not a lady who bakes cookies. Grýla is a giant, horrible giantess, who lives in a cave in the mountains and has a very specific culinary taste. Naughty children. According to Icelandic folklore, during Christmas, Grýla comes down from the mountains with a giant sack looking for children who have behaved badly. And not to give them coal. No, she puts them in the sack, takes them to her cave, and cooks them in a stew. It is the Christmas version of natural selection. Behave well, or you will end up being the dinner of an ancient giantess. And Grilla does not live alone. She lives with her third husband, Lepaludi, who is a lazy ogre who doesn't do much, and with her 13 sons, the Yule lads. These guys come down to the villages one by one during the 13 nights before Christmas. And they don't come down to leave gifts. They come down to annoy. Each one has a name that describes his favorite crime, and I swear they look like they were taken from a list of very strange petty criminals. We have Stekjastor, the sheepcoat Claude, who has peg legs and chases the sheep to try to steal milk. Then there is Giljagar, the gully gawk, who hides in ditches waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the barns and steal the foam from the cow's milk. The list goes on and gets more and more absurd. There is Stufur, who is extremely short, and his passion is stealing pans to lick the grease left stuck. Then comes Þvorsleikir, the spoon licker, a guy so skinny from malnutrition that he looks like a skeleton and dedicates himself to licking wooden spoons. And let's not forget Askasleikir, the bowl licker, who hides under beds waiting for someone to put their bowl on the floor to lick it clean. It is disgusting and terrifying in equal parts. Imagine sleeping and knowing that there is a troll under your bed waiting to lick your dirty plate. But my personal favorite has to be Hurthasklir, the door slammer. His only function in life, his great contribution to Christmas, is waiting for everyone to be asleep to slam doors brutally and wake up the whole house. It is basically the annoying neighbor we have all had, but turned into folklore legend. And in case the cannibal mother and the 13 thief sons weren't enough trauma, the family has a pet, the Christmas cat, or Jólakötturinn. Don't imagine an adorable kitten with a red bow. We are talking about a gigantic beast, black as night, that prowls through snowy villages, looking through windows. And what is it looking for? It looks for people who are not wearing new clothes. According to tradition, if you don't wear a new piece of clothing before Christmas Eve, the Christmas cat will eat you. Simple as that. It is the most lethal fashion police in history. Formerly, this was used to motivate workers to finish processing wool before winter. If you finished the work, they gave you clothes. If not, you stayed with the old stuff and risked being the giant cat's appetizer. So, you know, if you ever spend Christmas in Iceland and someone gifts you socks, don't complain. They are saving your life. We leave behind the horrors of Iceland to travel to the heart of Europe, to the Alps, Austria, Germany, Bavaria. This is where Christmas has two very marked faces. On one hand, there is Saint Nicholas, the good saint who brings gifts to good children. But Saint Nicholas knows he cannot handle the naughty children alone. He needs an enforcer, a bad cop. And there enters Krampus. Krampus is undoubtedly the most terrifying figure of Western Christmas. Legend says that while Saint Nicholas leaves sweets, Krampus takes care of physical punishments. And if the child has been really terrible, Krampus puts him in a sack he carries on his back and takes him to hell, or to the forest, or to the river. The destination varies, but none is good. The fascinating thing is that this is not just an old tale. Today, Krampuslofts are celebrated, parades where hundreds of people dress up in hyper-realistic Krampus costumes, drink alcohol, and run through the streets, scaring people and hitting spectators gently, or not so gently, with branches. It is a collective catharsis, a mixture of pagan party and Christmas celebration where fear is the protagonist. Seeing a 2-meter monster running towards you through fog and snow, with the sound of cowbells and the fire of torches makes you understand why children in the Alps behave so well. Fear works. But not everything is demons and ogres. Sometimes, terror comes in forms more surreal. If we cross to the United Kingdom, specifically to Wales, we find a tradition that seems taken from a fever nightmare after eating too much cheese. It is called Mari Lwyd, and it consists, basically, of a horse skull. Yes, you heard right. A real horse skull, mounted on a pole, with a white sheet covering the person carrying it, and decorated with colorful ribbons and bells in the eyes. It looks like an equine ghost risen from the grave. Tradition dictates that groups of people take Mari Lwyd from house to house. When they arrive at your door, the skull, meaning the person underneath, starts singing insulting verses or challenging. And you, from inside the house, have to respond by singing, returning the insult or challenge with witty rhymes. It is a rap battle, a rapper's fight, but with a dead horse skull at your door. If the outsiders win the rhyme battle, you have to let them in and give them food and drink. And believe me, no one wants to beat the Mari Lwyd, because having that skeletal horse drinking your beer in the living room brings good luck for the new year. It is an ancient pagan tradition, celebrating death and rebirth in the depths of winter. Visually, it is striking. The skull's jaw usually has a mechanism to open and close, making a dry click, clack, 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 while it sings to you. Imagine opening the door on a dark night and finding that. It is terrifying, it is absurd, and it is absolutely cool. It reminds us that Christmas coincides with the winter solstice, the darkest time of the year, when the barrier between the living and the dead is thinner. And sometimes, the dead just want to come in for a pint and sing a little. If you thought the singing horse skull of Wales was the peak of weirdness, prepare yourselves, because we are traveling to southern Europe, to sunny Spain, specifically to Catalonia. And here I have to ask you to open your mind, because what I'm going to tell you defies all logic outside its borders. In Catalonia, Christmas is, and I say this with all the respect and love in the world, surprisingly scatological. They don't wait for Santa Claus to come down the chimney there. There they have the Tió de Nadal, or as it is affectionately known, the Caga Tió. And yes, the verb to poop is literal here. The Tió is basically a log, a piece of wood. But not just any one. They paint a smiling face on it, put 2 front legs, and cover it with a red barretina, the traditional Catalan hat. The tradition starts on Immaculate Conception Day, December 8th. Families place the log in the living room and cover it with a blanket so it doesn't catch a cold. From that day on, children have the responsibility of feeding the log every night. They give him mandarin peels, cookies, nuts. They take care of him like a wooden pet. The logic is impeccable. The more the log eats, the more it will produce later. And Christmas Eve arrives, the moment of truth. The children gather around the log, armed with sticks. Yes, with sticks. And they start hitting the log hard while singing a popular song. And the lyrics of the song don't beat around the bush. It says something like, "Poop log, poop nougat, hazelnuts and mato cheese. If you don't poop well, I will hit you with a stick." It is a fascinating scene. Ritualized child violence against a smiling log to get sweets. After the beating, the children reach under the blanket and discover that, miraculously, the log has pooped gifts. Generally, they are nougats, wafers, and small sweets. When the log has nothing more to give, it usually poops something symbolic to indicate that it is over. It is a tradition that celebrates nature, the return of what the earth gives us, but passed through a biological humor filter that leaves tourists absolutely perplexed. And watch out, it doesn't end there. In Catalan nativity scenes, they also hide the Caga Tió, a figurine of a squatting peasant with his pants down, doing his business in a corner of the manger. Far from being a lack of respect, it is a symbol of fertility. If the field is fertilized, the harvest is good. It is pure pragmatism turned into Christmas ornament. Let's change the subject radically. Let's leave the logs and let's go to something that would give many people a heart attack: spiders. If you have arachnophobia, Ukraine might not be your ideal destination in December. There is a beautiful and slightly spooky legend there called The Legend of the Christmas Spider. It tells the story of a very poor widow who lived in a cold hut with her children. One summer day, a pine cone fell on the dirt floor of the hut, and a small fir tree started to sprout. The children cared for it with excitement, dreaming that for Christmas they would have a tree like the rich. The tree grew healthy and strong, but when Christmas Eve arrived, the widow was heartbroken. They had the tree, but no money to buy even a single ornament. The tree was naked and sad. That night, the house spiders heard the family's weeping and decided to act. For hours, they spun their webs all over the branches, covering it with intricate and complex designs. When the sun rose on Christmas morning, the first rays of light touched the spider webs, and, magically, these turned into threads of gold and silver. The family woke up to find the most spectacular and brilliant tree ever seen, and thanks to the gold and silver, they never went hungry again. This legend is the origin of why we put tinsel, or silver and gold ribbons, on our trees nowadays. They are representations of those spider webs. In Ukraine, finding a spider web on the Christmas tree is not a sign of lack of cleanliness. It is an omen of good luck and prosperity for the coming year. It is a story that reminds us that beauty can come from the most unexpected places, even from an 8-legged bug. And speaking of strange ornaments, we have to make a pit stop in Germany to talk about a very curious myth: the Christmas pickle, or Weihnachtsgurke. The tradition, or at least what we are told, says that German families hide a pickle-shaped glass ornament among the green branches of the tree. As it is green on green, it is very difficult to see. The first child who finds it on Christmas morning receives an extra gift, or is guaranteed good luck for the whole year. Sounds very traditional, very Bavarian, right? Well, the funny thing is that most Germans had no idea what this was until recently. Turns out it is a tradition that was probably invented in the United States in the late 19th century to sell glass ornaments imported from Germany. It was a masterful marketing move. "Look at this ancient German tradition," the sellers said, and people bought it, literally and figuratively. Nowadays, the Christmas pickle has returned to Germany like a sort of cultural boomerang, and now it is sold in the markets of Nuremberg or Munich for tourists looking for that manufactured authenticity. It is the perfect example of how a lie repeated 1,000 times becomes a beloved tradition. In the end, it doesn't matter if it is historical truth or not. If the family has fun looking for a glass pickle among the branches, the tradition is real. But if we talk about marketing creating traditions, no one, and I mean no one, beats Japan. In Japan, Christmas is not a national holiday, since there are hardly any Christians. However, it is celebrated with impressive consumerist fervor, and the most sacred tradition, the Christmas dinner par excellence in Japan, is not turkey, nor ham, nor seafood. It is KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yes, the fried chicken bucket of Colonel Sanders. Since 1974, thanks to a brutally effective advertising campaign called Kentucky for Christmas, eating fried chicken has become synonymous with celebrating the holidays. Don't imagine it's like going any random Tuesday for fast food. Oh no. In Japan, people reserve their chicken buckets months in advance. There are kilometer-long queues surrounding the blocks on December 24th. The prices of the special Christmas menus skyrocket and include strawberry cake and champagne, or champagne substitute. The life-size Colonel Sanders at the restaurant doors dresses as Santa Claus. For millions of Japanese families, Christmas tastes like the secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. It is a phenomenon that demonstrates the absolute power of advertising to fill a cultural void. On Christmas, you eat chicken, they said, and a whole country nodded and got in line. And to start finishing our trip, let's fly quickly to Caracas, Venezuela. There they have a tradition that is pure kinetic joy. In the days leading up to Christmas, people go to the Aguinaldos Mass very early in the morning. But they don't go by car, nor by bus, nor walking. They go skating. They close the streets to traffic until 8 in the morning so that the whole city becomes a giant skating rink. Children, parents, and grandparents put on skates and glide towards the church. It is a beautiful image. A city taken over by people, the sound of wheels on asphalt, the fresh morning breeze. It is a party on wheels before religious devotion. What do all these stories tell us? From the burning goat of Sweden to the log that poops gifts in Catalonia, from the demons of the Alps to the fried chicken of Tokyo. They tell us that Christmas is a blank canvas on which each culture projects its fears, its hopes, and its sense of humor. Deep down, all these traditions, however strange they seem, have the same goal: bringing us together. We need excuses to gather when it is cold and dark. We need to laugh at fear. We need to believe that if we are good, the monster won't eat us, or that if we hit a log, we will get sweets, or that if we find a spider, we will get luck. Christmas doesn't have to be perfect and shiny like in the commercials. It can be dirty, it can be scary, it can be absurd, and it can smell like fried chicken. And that is what makes it human. So this year, when you are sitting at the table, maybe you can look at your family and think, well, at least we don't have to hide from a giant man-eating cat, or do we? Happy and strange holidays to everyone.